This is Hardball with Chris Matthews, June 12, 2019.
Robert Mueller's investigation exposed the full extent of Russia's efforts to interfere in the 2016 election. The president now argues it's not interference, it's just information. The president went on to add he would maybe call the FBI if he thought something was wrong. Maybe. Joining me right now is Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu from California, who's on the House Judiciary. Congressman Lieu, what we know is that the president now believes it's okay to take dirt, Oppo research, from a foreign government. He says it's okay. Does that square with your committee's decision not to impeach him?
Thank you, Chris, for your question. What Donald Trump said is un-American, unpatriotic, and unbelievable. The issue is not Oppo research. You can take Oppo research. You cannot take it from a foreign power. And there's actually a law against this. The Federal Election Campaign Act says that candidates cannot knowingly take anything of material value from a foreign power. Donald Trump is selling America down for his own personal benefit.
What about this? What do you think the Russians were up to when they gave him stuff? I want to get the back of what he thought, how innocent this was. He's saying it was okay because he covered up the story. He didn't think it was that okay. At the Trump Tower meeting with Valenskaya and even his son, he obviously thought there was something wrong because he lied about it later. He had a totally misconstrued thing about, oh, it had to do with adoptions. Do you believe the president's admission of his motive, that he thinks it's okay to do this, will move the Committee on Judiciary and the Speaker, Pelosi, to move now or not?
So I've expressed my personal opinions to the Speaker. This is a decision that will be made by the Speaker and the caucus, and I respect that decision. But in the meantime, we're going to investigate and gather evidence. There's a breakthrough with the Department of Justice recently where I and other members of the House Judiciary will be able to look at the underlying documents specifically for that Trump Tower meeting. And we want to know exactly what was said, what the agents were told when they interviewed these witnesses. And if, in fact, there was things of material value, then the House Judiciary Committee is going to continue investigating that very meeting.
He's saying today that he wouldn't tell his FBI director, Christopher Wray, he wouldn't tell him, his own appointed FBI director, that he got some dirt offered to him over the phone from Moscow. What do you, or anywhere, he said, any foreign government. What do you make of that?
It is unbelievable. Donald Trump views himself as above the law. He thinks it's okay to get information from foreign power on opponents. That is not okay. It's illegal. Again, the Federal Election Campaign Act makes that illegal, and the FBI director is absolutely right. And we can look back historically when the Al Gore campaign got a package of information that was going to reveal information about the Bush campaign. They sent that to the FBI.
Let's take a look at this again, Congressman. You're on the Judiciary Committee. I want you to watch this and have your reaction to what Trump said with Stephanopoulos in that interview.
Should he have gone to the FBI when he got that email?
Okay, let's put yourself in a position. You're a congressman. Somebody comes up and says, hey, I have information on your opponent. Do you call the FBI? I don't think.
Coming from
I'll tell you what,
you do.
I've seen a lot of things over my life. I don't think in my whole life I've ever called the FBI. In my whole life. You don't call the FBI. You throw somebody out of your office. You do whatever.
Al Gore got a stolen briefing book. He called the FBI.
Well, that's different. A stolen briefing book. This isn't a stolen. This is somebody that said, we have information on your opponent. Oh, let me call the FBI. Give me a break. Life doesn't work that way.
The FBI director says that's what should happen.
The FBI director is wrong.
What would you make of this, Congressman, if those very words we heard now, after all the fighting about this with Pelosi and everybody and all this stalling game that's going on right now, which is what it is, what would you have done if you got this information a few months ago in the written answers to the questions by the special counsel? Because they wouldn't let Trump answer the questions. They hid the guy. They gagged him. Here he is coming out with what looks to me like very, very dangerous testimony.
This interview with Donald Trump is very revealing because it shows that the president does not understand the difference between Americans and America and a foreign power. So as a member of Congress, if I got information, Oppo research on my opponent from, let's say, an American political consultant, totally fine. If a Russian person, a Russian official came up to me and said, hey, we have dirt on your opponent, I would call the FBI. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. The FBI director is right. And Donald Trump, again, is unpatriotic and un-American for thinking he can take material information from a foreign power and use it against his political opponents.
Every roll call, you have to walk along with Republican members of Congress on the other side of the aisle. You see them around. You see them at dining hall, at lunch, and everything. How are they? Do you think they're going to be held to this question? Now, what's your gut? Will the media say to them, Do you agree with the president it's okay to take dirt from foreign governments?
I hope every news host and every channel asks them, including Fox News. I hope they don't ignore this story because, again, what the president said is unbelievable. It is unpatriotic, un-American. He is a commander-in-chief of the American Armed Forces. No commander-in-chief should be selling America down the river to a foreign power simply to benefit himself.
Last question. It's a little hardball. But does it matter what you think as a member of the House Judiciary Committee about impeachment? Because it seems to me we keep getting reports that almost every Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee wants to move forward with impeachment, yet you don't do it. So does it matter what you think?
So right now,
I mean, it's a cruel question, I admit.
Right.
It's cruel as hell. But I've been hearing from everybody. I know these people. They're all good people. They say, we want to do it. We want to do it. But you don't.
So we are making the Mueller report come to life. We're getting additional information to the American people. We just had another breakthrough where next week we'll interview Hope Hicks. That will be behind closed doors, but then the transcription will be made publicly available. So we're trying to get information out to the American people and to show them what happened when the Trump administration basically had all these contacts with the Russians, and then they tried to obstruct the investigation into those contacts.
Well, I sympathize with your situation, Congressman, but the fact that Hope Hicks is going to testify behind closed doors with a lawyer from the White House there to make sure that anything that's even slightly interesting isn't talked about because they will claim executive privilege, don't you think?
They might, and they will lose in court. We have very, very strong case law behind us, so we'll see what happens next week.
I'm rooting for you, sir. Thank you. U.S. Congressman Ted Lieu of California. We're going to stay on top of this all night tonight, but as I mentioned, we've got more breaking news to get to. Donald Trump Jr., who was in that meeting on the air, well, he was in the meeting with the Russians the president covered up about.